My name is Robert Neville. I'm a survivor living in New York City. I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
The Spiritual Pimp, and we're gonna get into it. I got a whole list. I didn't come to just a freestyle tonight. I wrote some things down to get into tonight with the prosperity theology, the health and wealth, prosperity, the gospel that's dealing with Christianity, the spiritual pimp, how to recognize a spiritual pimp. I wrote down 10 ways to recognize a spiritual pimp. These are the 10 out of 100 ways. We're going to get into that, and also the 10 ways to know if you are a spiritual hooker.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we're gonna get right into the proceedings this evening. So everybody hold tight, and we're going to get into this. The 10 ways to recognize a spiritual pimp. The first way, the spiritual pimp identifies himself as a character inside of religious myths or mythos, or claims to be a character incarnate within religious mythology. And the idea behind that is, how could you say that you are one of the X-Men incarnated or avatar for Wolverine when Wolverine or the X-Men never existed? you know what I mean? That's where we start off with. You're claiming a character from inside of a myth. But these characters never existed. The X-Men, you can't say that you are Professor X incarnate or the avatar for the spirit of Professor X, because there is no Professor X. Mythos. The second one, the spiritual pimp is seen as or claims to be a mediator or intercessor between, quote, the creator and man. And the idea behind that is only through them or through their teachings will you be saved, liberated, or get, quote, the truth.
So the spiritual pimp believes in the mystery God.
Yes, he does believe in the mystery God. And you see that he becomes, which is where we get to number 3, the spiritual pimp transforms from various titles / positions in ascending order, going from the student to the teacher to the messenger to the reformer to the Messiah to an alien incarnate to God to Lord, etc., etc. It keeps getting higher and higher. It keeps elevating in an ascending order. He keeps going from one minute he just was a teacher until he ends up being God or the creator incarnate or some alien avatar incarnate.
So is it safe to say that all spiritual pimps have to endorse the mystery God no matter what religion they claim? It seems that way.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm just gonna run through them real quick, and we're gonna get to them. So he identifies himself as a character inside of the religious mythos, or claims to be a character incarnate within a religious mythology. Only through them, the spiritual pimp claims to be a mediator or some intercessor. You can't get to the creator until you get through them. The spiritual pimp, he goes from various titles from an ascending order, going from just a teacher, so then he goes into the messenger, to the apostle, to a reformer, a messiah, to eventually being God himself in the person. The spiritual pimp cannot be questioned or discourages free thinking that contradicts or challenges the accepted doctrine or dogma. And the idea behind that is, without questions, critical thinking is lost and accountability forfeited. This is when the real brainwashing or indoctrination takes place. The question to ask the followers is, what teaching or what part of the doctrine do you disagree with and why? They will have none. That's the test. If you don't disagree with anything that this man says, chances are he's a spiritual pimp and you will fall into a spiritual hooker. Also, number 5, money hyperconsciousness. Promotion of material consumption and accumulation as central theme. This would include prosperity theology, justification of wealth, the get-rich mantras, the name it, claim it, and this is the secret. The money and power accumulation under the guise of religious concepts. This is the justification of indulgence and participation in, quote, unquote, Satan's kingdom without being obvious. You know what I mean? You're getting all this money in the kingdom that you said belonged to the devil, but you're getting paid in Satan's kingdom, in the devil's kingdom. Number 6, spiritual pimps amass tremendous wealth and live a lavish lifestyle. They look like a pimp and prospering under the devil's system and acquiring the devil's currency. And the idea behind that is if it walks, talks, and acts like a duck, why wouldn't it be a duck? The philosophy, I guess, goes with you. They'll be in the world, get all the riches of the world, and then wait to get to heaven to get some more. Number 7, isolation from other community members, leaders, family to further the indoctrination or the control. And the idea behind that is once you are no longer able to listen to other viewpoints or challenge other concepts, the pimp can then monopolize control over your mind and control you much deeper. And the refusal to come together with others further enforces the exclusive messiah role claimed by the pimp. And I guess the idea would be you don't need the savior. You need the savior. The savior doesn't need you. That's the mentality behind that. Number 8, spiritual pimps have multiple affairs and children by their followers. This shows both intent to control and manipulate and maintain ownership over their followers. Number 9, spiritual pimps have past or present incarcerations or, quote, brushes with the law, which expose character flaws contradictory to the assumed or expected personality of the pimp. These brushes with the law is usually hidden or downplayed among followers as a sign of the pimp claimed to be divine. He's being persecuted. This is why they're being persecuted, not the fact that they broke the law intentionally. Observe the charges brought against the pimp and question how could they have even gotten arrested being who they claim to be? How could you arrest Allah, first of all? I guess this arrest was all a part of the prophecy. And number 10, ways to identify a spiritual pimp. The spiritual pimp makes multiple predictions and prophecies that never come true, but only receive extensions, postponements, and changes of plans. This is the God was misquoted. The ships are coming. The sham ships is on its way. We lost the covenant, or God changed his mind. So that's just the 10 ways to recognize a spiritual pimp.